From the cell to the sidewalk, from survival to rebirth, from cold tears to new frontiers, these are the stories they never wanted out. So, this is the Visitation Room Podcast, Second Lap Media Production, and I am Amir Tariq, your host.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, how's everybody doing today on Visitation Room Podcast at the Pod Place once again, the biggest setup. Today I have the honor of running into and interviewing my main man here, Mr. Christopher Life Willars.
Why'd you say my name like
that? Hey, look, he needs no introduction, but I wanted to go ahead like this, man. It's great to have you on the show today, man.
I love being here always. Shout out to Vegas, man. Shout out to my brother with Second Lap. Shout out to the play. We're working.
But yeah, so first off, I got to say this, man. It's really an honor to have you out here, and I know how it is. You know, just having a baby. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I know you was like, hey, look, I'm gonna come out here and get back to my baby boy. You know, I think that's a beautiful thing too. But before I get into the actual podcast, let's talk about fatherhood real quick. Because the entire time of everything we've done in the morning, you've been like, my son, I'll get back to my son. You're FaceTime me, son, we got. Give me that feeling, man. Talk to me about that.
Man, in 2003, I was sentenced to 144 years in prison. So, life in any way is a blessing.
Exactly.
Last year, this time, my house burned down. Boom. Right after I did a TikTok. To walk back out my living room, my house was on fire.
Wow.
And I got my family up out of there, and I remember like mentally not knowing if I was gonna be able to push through this one. Cause we had been through some other stuff too since I've been home. But pushed through, fought through. March, found out I was ready to be a dad. Yeah, well, I don't know though. So a switch got hit, and now he came early. My son was supposed to be here in December. He came in November. You know, he couldn't wait.
He couldn't wait.
But it's a blessing, man. I get to look at somebody that it's my flesh and blood. I'm adopted too, so it's real deep. For us, for the first time, I've connected to somebody with my blood. I could see him, I could hold. You know, so to be a father, it's a blessing. It's probably the greatest blessing I ever experienced.
That's major, man. That's major because I'm jumping into that first because when I was looking at you, right, when you get out the car, you were looking at your phone. I was like, I'm on CEO. What's up with this dude? He's like, yeah, that's my son. I was like, wait, to see that joy, that excitement, that love on your face, man. And then especially from the environment that we come from, to have that right there, man, that's a blessing. Big ups to you up on that, man. I definitely. And I see a lot of people on your platform about fatherhood and everything. Yeah. But right now, let's get to it. Let's get
it.
Since how many years? 144?
144.
How did your mind process that?
Initially, it didn't. You know, I mean, I guess it did in a way, but no. I had a public defender. I was in VA, and I got caught up in that time period between 95 and 2005.
Okay. What do you mean a time period? What do you mean by that?
Well, that's right when they abolished parole.
Okay.
So anybody that's done time in VA, the last, Confederate capital of the South, etc. Yeah. I mean, I'll put the history out there. Yes, sir. It was just deep ties, but they was lighting us up. The cat's out there. There's no big secret.
Exactly.
And my public defender, prior to me getting sentenced, told me I was going to get 35, 54 years ago. And did it. He said it to me without taking a breath. He said it to me like I should accept that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did what a lot of 19-year-old kids don't do in the courtroom. I said no. So right before I'm getting ready to go out there, I didn't have a plea because I didn't cooperate. I had to go plead basically guilty at the mercy of the judge.
Right.
After telling my public defender I wasn't going to do that. His response was, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to figure out what you want me to tell the prosecutors.
And this is your public defender?
At 19 years of age.
So it's supposed to be fighting for you on your behalf.
And now I've got a big boy decision to make. And the decision is, how much time will I do? How much time can I survive behind the wall? And how much time will they be good with? Yeah, that's insane. It's insane, but it's reality. Because if we look back again, speaking about VA, but we see it nationwide, but I'm speaking about Virginia this time.
But
I was watching individuals with the type of charges I had: robbery, driving, not even really the main part of it, still getting life sentences. So there was a lot on the line. I told my first defender when he came back in, I said, actually, I've been home before.
So, okay, wait. So, how old were you at the time?
19.
and you're telling him, hey, look, you're already in your mind registering, I want to be home before I'm 40.
Yeah, I'm anticipating getting a life sentence, but I'm trying to get less. And I just told him I'm not good with 35 to 54. So there's nothing for me to stand on. I didn't cooperate when given the opportunity. I didn't have any leverage. Other people were already testifying. It was literally me just asking. So it either I was going to get 35 to 54 life sentence, but hey, maybe it goes the other way and I can get less. But I got to make it look right to them. And that I was conscious enough to know, as much as, how you going to tell them you want to be home? Because they wanted time out of me.
They wanted something, right? The Commonwealth.
They wanted time up out of me.
So, okay, so for the audience, when he's saying, he said the Confederate capital, as we know, I'm listening to him tell his story, right? And as I'm listening to him, keep in mind, I was incarcerated in the same state, the Commonwealth, where the wealth is definitely not common. Yeah. It's one of those situations. I was in the same state. I went through the same thing. But we're telling his story. But as he's saying it, I'm realizing, yeah, this is exactly what it is, because he's giving him a little more depth to it. So 144 years. You haven't been sentenced yet, but you're about to walk in. You get 144 years. Yeah. I always try and ask the same question. As they're sentencing you, as he's saying the numbers, what's going through your mind?
I went blank. I walked out there. I walked out there, adrenaline up, not knowing. And all I could really see, there was people in the courtroom, but all I could really see was my mother.
Right.
That was it. And that's all that was there for me, was my mother. And that's all I needed at that time.
Okay.
But as he's giving me the time, it's like that high-pitched ringing. And it's just because I hear that 144, and I'm like, it's over. And then I was about to call him my prosecutor. Might as well.
He might as well been. He was part of it, right? He was in on it.
My public defender starts tapping me on my shoulder, and he's like, they suspended. And at the end, he was like, man, you got everything suspended but 19 years. That's how the sentence was 144, all suspended but 19.
Okay, got it. Now I understand. So when I hear that still, though, because as we know, when you have those split sentences, all that stuff's on the back end. They're trying to keep you on.
I got 50 years good behavior over my head right
now. You know what I'm saying? Which is basically a guillotine.
Yeah.
Which is basically a guillotine. One false move, you're done, right? So before I get into that, because there's so much I want to talk to you about, right? Mm-hmm. But one of the things I was just talking about the other day was when we were talking about, because your thing is stay free, right? Because once you're a part of that system, a lot of us know once you're a part of that system, they try and make it for life. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. And I try, myself on my platform, I try and encourage a lot of the I call them convict content creators. We got to come up with a name for that. I keep trying to tell Aaron we got to come up with a name for that. Yeah. But the thing is, I try and tell everybody, hey, look, okay, you're out of prison. I'm jumping ahead. You're out of prison, but you're not free.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
There's things we still have to do. You got to get your rights back. You got to get your gun rights back, your voting rights, and all those type. You need to reestablish these things, right? Yeah. So I try and encourage people to do that, because myself, I just celebrated my 7th year of freedom.
Nice.
7th year.
I'm approaching 6.
Approaching 6?
3 days.
2 days? Yeah. January was a month, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I say it's like approaching that, I always look at it like, look, there's still work to do. You know what I'm saying? And we have some of the craziest work ethics, as you know. But 144 years, you blacked out. You hear him say suspend. You go into, because I like to get straight to the meat.
Let's get it.
You go into it. You enter into prison. What was the first place you went in the Virginia DOC? First prison?
From Haynesville Receiving to Sussex 2.
Okay, wait. Haynesville Receiving, which is a low level.
Yeah.
Straight to
the hole, essentially.
To Sussex 2.
To Sussex 2.
Which is one of Virginia's max prisons.
One of the worst prisons probably in the country. That's closed now.
Yeah, it's closed.
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, I'm serious, because you got all this time.
Yeah.
You're the receiving center, which is low level.
Yeah.
To basically, I call it the board cube. I was accessible as well. So what was that like?
I'm from Chicago, right? So when I got to prison, it became really clear that everybody was clicked up. In jail where I was at, it wasn't like that.
Okay.
And it was more, I guess there was more respect in the jail. You get into a rumble or whatever. In prison, immediately I got pressed up on.
Like, when you mean press, break it down for my audience. When you get pressed up on.
Yeah, my first day, I put my stuff in the cell. They put me in the cell with an old head from Richmond. Good dude, solid dude. But as he's trying to let people know my cellie's all right, he's a new guy, some younger guys from Richmond, They're like, oh, they got me. They got him one.
Right.
Immediately. I'm light skinned. I got hair. I'm not bald then.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So no, but immediately as I walk, it's a bunch of different factors. I got pressed on in multiple ways. It wasn't just them. Big Terry. I'm gonna call him Big Terry.
Big Terry.
Big Dana.
Oh my God! Really?
I
know Big. Everyone knows Big Dana.
Everybody knows him.
6'6". Damn near 300. Yeah.
But immediately for different reasons, I was getting, potentially, pressed on or attacked or whatever. And my third day there, I got into an altercation.
Okay.
Some guys jumped me. The same guys from Richmond, because they came up. They just walked up joking, man. And you know how you can tell they're not joking with you, they joking at you. And then I stood up, simply because I didn't know if I don't know what the.
Right.
And immediately when I stood up, it was on.
Okay. So basically it was traumatic. We can say that.
My first week, the first day, outside of what happened to me, the first day we walked over, there was a guy slumped in the stairwell, in whatever type of physical condition, his pants down, bleeding from his mouth. And the guys are telling me just keep going. My cellie's telling me just immediately, bro. It was extremely trauma. It was everything that the prison movies kind of put out there in a stereotypical way, except this was real.
This is real.
Yeah, this was real.
So you're in that environment. You got all this time. As you said, they clicked up because we're aware
cities,
that, and it was cities, it was Norfolk, it was Richmond,
and
DC.
And then that was also when gangs started coming to the system, because anybody that did time in VA knows there weren't really no gangs out
at
there
all
until
at
like
all.
2004, 2005.
So. Right around the time the Lil Wayne mixtape started dropping. Yeah.
And then the
then all of a sudden the gangs come. Yeah. And Dipset and all that. Then all the gangs and everything come. Yeah. So all right, so that environment happens. You're going through the time, right? Mm-hmm. You got jumped, this, so on and so forth. He said,
I'm thinking about that. I'm still mad. If y'all see me, y'all know what it is. No, I'm just playing.
No, reality.
Playing,
you see, it's not knowing what it is.
Peace.
We're not there. That's just definitely not happening.
First time dad.
Grown man stuff here.
No.
So let's fast forward, right? And the reason I say that is because I say this all the time on my platform. I don't care about your war stories. Right. I really don't. I mean, we go through. A lot of us come out with PTSD, the traumas and all that type of things. But where in your bid, right? Mm. Where during your time did your mind say, you know what, I got to prepare for going home? Because I know a lot of people, I'm sure you knew as well, a lot of people didn't prepare for going home.
No.
They were just doing the time.
Yeah.
I myself, with the amount of time I did, I wasn't preparing to go home.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, the holiday package is coming. Okay, it went from playing basketball to, hey, I'm going to try and get drafted on a 35 and older league. Those are a number of years. Yeah. From that to, hey, I might make it to the 50 and older league. I didn't know when I was going home. Ooh. So where did you get to the point where it was like, you know what, I need to prepare to go home?
I never felt in place in prison. Prior to me being locked up, that was my first time getting in trouble.
Oh, wow.
I was in the United States Air Force. I was taking college classes, 4.0 GPA, came out of basic training, E3, getting ready to be an E4. I was on my way to be law enforcement.
Okay, time out. Okay, so
I was getting ready to be law enforcement. I'm gonna say that a little bit loud. I was going a totally different path. I was gonna try to get the people that play with the kids and all that, but I was trying to go into the.
Oh yeah, that's always a big thing.
Yeah, I was trying to really go there.
So okay, with that, I got to rewind a little bit, because y'all know I'm jump all over the place because my mind's going.
That's all right, man.
Myself, my upbringing, no one would have said, "Oh, he's going to the penitentiary."
Right. Yeah,
until late. You know what I'm saying? Until late when I started, because I was living a double life.
Right.
With yourself, do you think that's something you were doing as well? Living a double life?
It's crazy. I can't say I was living a double life, because you'll never hear me on any of my stuff like I was in the streets and all that. Nah, I think, I think I was an angry young man. I think that I was drinking one night, and I think I made a decision to take my cousin and his people up the street. But prior to all that, I had never been in trouble, never touched the inside of a cell, never any type
Nothing.
of
Nothing. No juvenile.
Nah, my mom and dad loved me. My dad hugged me before he go to work. Mom cooked for me every day.
Right.
We may not have been the richest, but we was wealthy.
So you were definitely an anomaly when it comes to being incarcerated.
I'm not an anomaly though, because what we're seeing now, more than ever, but it was back then too, is just social media. I was one of the suburban kids, or one of the kids that didn't have to but did.
Likewise.
there's a there's a
that's-
percentage.
that's
There's a
me
great
too.
there's a great percentage that grew up in the hood or had to or felt like they had to or were conditioned. But there's a major percentage of us that we didn't have to. We just
Right.
gravitated that way. We got older. We started to be more curious.
This
That
was
gave us
more
independence.
entertaining. This was funner. Yeah, okay. So, all right. With that, it's crazy because I'm looking at how our lives parallel. You know what I mean? And as you said, there's a lot of people like that. I've met plenty that hey man, I was trying to provide for my family, and that's not the reality of it.
Yeah.
But you get in a situation now. You said you never felt like you should have been in prison.
No, I'm not gonna say I didn't feel like I should have been. I never felt in place.
In place.
Yeah, I
Okay.
never. I always
explain
felt.
that for
I
me.
always felt out of place. I really felt like a prisoner. I never felt at home. I felt like I was captive. Like I knew I was being punished.
okay, I
knew
understand.
I knew I should have got some time.
Right.
But like how you said, some of the brothers, they got used to being in there.
Right.
No, I was always trying to get out.
So you're always mentally you're
I
trying to
was in
focus
the law
on.
library forever. I was an inmate advisor on every camp. I worked with the county.
Wow,
Like, I was
okay.
always doing paperwork. I was always trying to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
So you end up Haynesville, Sussex. You run the gauntlet, and then you ended up back
to
at
Sussex.
Haynesville, right?
Nah, Haynesville, Sussex, Haynesville, back to Sussex.
So you went back and forth.
Yeah.
So how did you end up back at Sussex? I'm trying to figure that out. What happened there?
Man, prison. Just physical altercations. I never started anything in my life. Never through the first, but you're in prison. And on that one, it was a situation dealing with some gambling.
Mm-hmm.
Guy didn't honor his bet or what he owed, and kind of took it overboard. Ended up going back to solitary for 14 months. Me and a buddy of mine ended up getting indictments.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's serious. So solitary confinement, 14 months.
Yeah.
That is something we got to talk about because I haven't had too many people. I myself have spent a great deal of time in solitary confinement over a over a turkey tray. You know what I mean? And
I've seen dudes go back there for 10 years for their hair.
right, yeah, it's definitely. What he's talking about there is in Virginia. I think it was 99.
Yeah.
I think it was December 12th. Actually, I know the date.
Yeah.
December 12th, 1999. They said we had to cut our hair by noon.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the policies in the Virginia system, just a little history. In the Virginia system, they didn't want you to have long hair or anything like that, or long
Facial
beards,
hair.
facial beards,
All
and
you
stuff
could
like
have
that.
was the mustache. Yeah. That's it.
Because they were saying it was a violation of policy, or you could change your
Everybody looked like
appearance.
Charles Bronson.
So you had some people who basically said, "Nah, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, they was
Right.
bucking.
And
Ross
they
brothers,
bucked, and they
Rastafarian
just
brothers,
the Rastafarians
mostly,
definitely
yeah.
they shipped them immediately from there to the mountains.
Yeah.
A lot of them never even
For
came out of the
years.
mountains for years, many years. I just a quick throw that history in there.
Yeah.
But okay, so now we're in a situation because I'm all over the place a little bit. Let me round it in. Let me
It's
draw
cool.
it
I got
in.
ADHD. I'm following.
You catch my ADHD.
Yeah, I'm following along, man. I'm with you.
So we're connected. We're good here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so now back to Sussex. The time you did, you said how many months?
14.
14 months in segregation.
That was the longest stint. My entire period of incarceration, over 3 years,
Oh, yeah, 3 years in
solitary.
solitary confinement.
Yeah.
What is that like? Now, hold up.
Yeah.
I know what it's like, but I want him to explain it.
Yeah.
What is that like?
The 14-month was crazy because we were facing potential street charges. So my stress level, I lost like 55 pounds back there.
Right. And when he says street charges, he's talking about a possibility of going back to court.
Yeah,
The whole,
they could have elevated my current sentence. Yeah, all of that.
Right.
So that was the worst. Physically, mentally, there was a couple times I checked out mentally. I got put in the turtle suit or whatever because I said, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it through the day. Dealt with thoughts of suicide, self-harm, stuff like that.
Right.
But there was also a lot. During that period, I lost my grandmother, and my little brother took his life. So,
Wow.
So you're in solitary, which is already a place where you're isolated. You have to deal with your thoughts. There's nothing to distract you.
Exactly.
You can't get to any type of mental health support, therapy. And I lost two of the closest people that I had in my life.
Right,
So
right.
it was the timing. It was my decisions. The choices I made. But that was the roughest period. Early on in the sentence, before that period, because that was the last time I was in the hole.
Right.
I used to go back there to get a break. I used to go back there to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, because on Sussex, you know, we used to have to stick the toothbrushes in the doors, make sure they didn't open up too fast. Because anything, you had to put mirrors in the corners of the cell. And so when I was back there, it was kind of relief, even at the jail.
Because you got nothing that's bothering you, right?
Yeah, man. And that speaks to how distorted my mindset was for that portion, which would later on, when I got free, I would self-isolate. I would do a lot of that, and I try to camouflage it as other things. But
that right there, that's a good point. I want to get back to that, right?
Yeah.
I want to get back to that later, that self-isolation, because I was just speaking about that the other day, about how a lot of times people in society don't understand what we go through and how we deal with things.
Thank
Because,
God.
you know, self-isolation, that's major. You know what I mean? It's one of those things like, I call it crate training. I don't want to deal with something, you know, like a dog, and say, you know, the dog just run to its crate. After it didn't like it at first, it finds safety in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one of those things a lot of us do. I know many of the people that I, you know, have been incarcerated, my brothers in the struggle, they'll be like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I don't want to be around people right now.
Yeah.
Me, I did it when I was driving trucks. Because, you know, I drove trucks. I would jump in the truck and just be gone.
Yeah.
And destroy the entire marriage at the time. I would jump in the truck and just be gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're talking 2-3 months. You know, the marriage or relationship was during FaceTime. In fact, when I got out of that and got into another situation, it started on FaceTimes.
Yeah.
But I didn't really want to be around people. So with that self-isolation, was it something where you said you checked out, ended up in a turtle suit? Is that it's funny to say it because we know what a turtle suit is, but it's not funny when you smart. It's not funny then because of your mental health.
Yeah.
Was that a struggle for you prior? Did you have mental health issues prior to incarceration?
Yeah, we once I came home, I struggled with mental health to the point. The first 2 years, 2020, 2021, were really volatile. I always got to say thank you to my wife. It got dark, bro. It got dark after I got free. And I ended up going for a psych eval, and I was diagnosed with type 1 bipolar. And one of the most profound statements, which drives a lot of my work now, is when she looked at me to shrink, she was like, yo, if you got diagnosed with this when you were younger, which you've had this since you were younger, you probably would have never went to prison.
Right. Because
So-
they could have dealt with that mental health aspect of it, right?
Yeah, they would, like I said, I wasn't a troublemaker. I wasn't in the streets, but I was angry. I would do things drastically at the drop. Like all the things, when you look at the definition of DSM for type 1 bipolar, that was me growing up.
Right.
So yeah.
Definitely. Wow, that's heavy. So you're going through this bid. We're coming out of the penitentiary, right? I think we spent too much time on it anyway, but that is telling your story, right?
Yeah.
I remember seeing the video of the day that I think it was your grandmother or someone. Who was it? Your mother? No, it was your mother.
That got out. Yeah, it was
the
my
day you
mother.
were coming out of the penitentiary, right?
Yeah, shout out to Mom, dude.
And your family was there.
Yeah.
And they were all. I'm pretty sure you've watched it several times.
Yeah.
But to me, what caught me was how happy they were inside the car. Like you got a support system.
Yeah.
They're there.
Like
You know,
great
they're
support
happy,
system.
excited for you, and
Yeah.
everything. They pull up, and you come walk out the door, and you had like the mug face.
I was.
Do you remember that moment?
Yeah. Mentally, I was still on the inside.
Okay.
And, you know, as much as I wasn't a troublemaker or whatever, I was in some really volatile situations and whatnot, you know, all of that.
Right.
So when I walked out those gates, all I seen was cop cars. I still seen the barbed wire. I still seen the fences. And just like I was on the inside with my people, as I got older, I was the one that made sure everybody was good.
Right.
I wasn't the toughest, but I was the one that could think. So I was, you know, in that mode immediately with my family. I want to get them up off there. They're celebrating. They're happy. My wife's trying to kiss me. I want to kiss her too, but
You wanna get out
I
of
want
there.
to get y'all out of here.
Right.
And that's the thought.
So that's the face. That's what was going through your head at that time.
Yeah, I was twitching. I was at that point in time, bro, like the level of fight or flight that I was in, it was causing physical like situation. Like I was twitching and I had problems with my stomach, like my heart. Like my stress level was that bad. I don't know if I wouldn't have made it home right then. I wonder if I would have had a heart attack or something, bro. 'Cause
Right.
I'm talking, it was that bad, and that's how high of a level of trauma I had endured in there.
So stress levels and everything, blood pressure probably through the roof.
Actually, blood pressure was good.
Blood pressure was good.
Blood pressure was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Wow.
came home. A lot of our brothers come home with high blood pressure,
Right.
diabetes. No, it wasn't that. It was just that stress, bro.
Right.
Yeah, it was just, and I've watched brothers on the yard, healthy, not healthy, that stress. Right. They don't make it home. They have a heart attack. It's over with.
The crazy thing about that, when you talk about the stress levels, is I remember my last 5 years of incarceration, they put me on medicine, blood pressure meds, right?
Yeah.
When I came home, at the time when I came home, she was like, "Nah, get off those meds."
Yeah.
I was like, "Nah, I need it." But when I come off the meds, I was fine.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother
Blood pressure
thing.
was just fine. It didn't go up again until I started driving a truck, and then I got out the truck, and then I got into a weird relationship. It shot through the roof, and then it went away. Anyway, but like I was saying, so when you talk about that, right? Let's get it to the point. That's that day you came home. Your family's there. What's in your mind? What is your thought process now? Not talking about that, but what are you saying? Like, do you have a goal? Do you think you're going to be where you are now? Because we're going to get into where you are now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But what was your thought process? Well, I'm going to get a job. What were you thinking? What was your plans?
I knew I was going to come home and be successful on some level because I found a way to be quote unquote successful in prison.
Right. Well, if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere.
Right. And I'm not talking about hustling. I'm talking about, like, I was able to implement programs,
right,
lecture to colleges, all that while I was incarcerated. So I felt like I was going to be able to do that when I came home. But it was that stress. It was that trauma. I didn't know if I could mentally be well enough to do what I really wanted to do in this world.
Okay.
Physically, I had everything that you could ask for coming home from incarceration, unlike a lot of our brothers and sisters.
Right.
I had a home with a mortgage. I had a wife. I had all this family, great, like you said, good support. But it was just that mental part. I already had opportunities waiting for me out here.
Right.
I just didn't know if mentally I could sustain them.
So that is big because, like I always talk about a lot of people coming home, they don't have that support. Right. They don't have those resources, everything like that. And that can lead to coming back.
No question.
But you had it. It's just the mental side.
Yeah, bro. I'm standing outside, and I'm not saying this but I'm standing outside of a 550 screaming, talking about I'm ready to go back to prison in the driveway of my home.
Okay, rewind. Say it one more time. You're standing outside your home that you bought, right?
No, I didn't buy. Shout out to my wife. I took over the mortgages. Okay. Shout out to my. She bought that one.
She bought that one. Okay, but and your whip is what?
At the time, 550.
And you're saying you want to go back to prison?
Yeah, I'm screaming. I'm crying. I'm having breakdowns.
Right.
And I keep talking about that trauma piece because when it came to my level of PTSD, we could be like this, and I could walk out there and lose it.
Right.
And it was just because my nervous system. And once I was outside of that abnormal environment, it was like I was faced with everything that I went through. Right. And I was getting triggered, and it was here and there, and it was coming out, and I could express certain emotions, and it was just coming, bro.
Right. That right there, it's crazy, and it hits with me as well because my father taught me something when I was driving trucks and I was going through certain situations. He was like, pull over the side of the road, because I would get shakes. He would say, pull over the side of the road and just scream.
You better.
And I was like, man, I'm not doing that. But the first time I did it, it was almost like some movie stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like tears. Because I was, my incarceration was really, probably just as violent as yours, if not more. But there are a lot of times where you didn't have that outlet. You can't, you know how it is. You can't go to prison and say, hey, man, I'm going through it. Can we talk?
I wasn't able to cry when my brother took his life, man. It's my little brother. I had to.
You couldn't mourn that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could have, but.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And then we come out here in these environments with relationship marriages, and then what's wrong? They don't understand. So you're in that situation, you just want to find a way to scream out, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy when we go through that, but therapy, because you did mention you went through therapy, right?
Yeah.
How was that? How did that do?
It didn't work the first 2 or 3 times, and then I ran into this.
2 or 3 times?
Yeah, I treated therapy like dating. And then I ran into I'll tell you, man. And it was funny, and I say this just for anybody. I was looking for somebody that I felt like could know what I went through, and then I ran into a therapist that's a 62-year-old white woman from New York that was able to help me process some things. Right. So. Yeah, I kept going until I
therapy definitely worked for you after you found the right one.
Not just therapy, sobriety. I stopped drinking.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, drinking and mental health for me, and I highly suggest anybody, if you're struggling with mental health, you shouldn't be drinking. But I stopped drinking, bro.
Okay.
That was another major thing because that was adding fuel to the fire. And then I just slowly but surely distanced myself from everybody around me that wasn't really concerned with my peace, my freedom.
That's big.
Yeah,
That's
me
big.
staying home, yeah.
That's definitely big because you can be around a bunch of people, like, when we were incarcerated, you could be around a bunch of people and they don't have your
Yeah.
best interests at all.
Yeah, or y'all could just be on different paths, and that's okay too. But I came home at 36. We don't gotta hang out. I'm not obligated. I'm be at home with my wife, chilling.
Exactly.
Yeah,
The best in the safe place.
That's the best place to be.
So you went through therapy. You found a good therapist.
Mm-hmm.
You're processing some things. When did this journey? What I mean by this journey, I'm talking about stay free.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the life unit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the social media. When did that come about? Was it just one day you said, I'm going to do this, or was it already there, or what? When did that stuff happen?
I went viral like 2 times before I got serious in 2020, 2021, like just randomly. And both of those posts were me having breakdowns. I promise you, it was like some trending sound off TikTok, and I just typed my thoughts, my most depressing thoughts attached to, and they did well, but I didn't stay with it. In 2022, I had made a promise to my wife prior to me coming home. I said, "What do you want to do?" And she's a master cosmetology instructor. She said, "I want to have a school." So for 2 years, I hustled. I was on the back of garbage trucks. I'm flipping burgers on MLK. I'm doing everything.
Right.
And we opened the school, and she made me executive director.
Oh, wow.
Which,
Okay.
yeah, right. That's what I said. I said, she's like, "You my husband. I can't lead you here if you're going to lead us." I said, "I don't." She's like, "You got this. We're going to pray and go." And the school, we were getting people in there, but I was just like, "Yo, we need to get more. We got to pay these bills."
Right.
That leads expensive.
Exactly.
So I just started telling my story in one way because I was trying to get us attention, to the school and just let people know that people can change. And then it took off. The news stations were there. With the school itself, we ended up graduating over 200 students. No student left behind. I got honored as a former felon as principal of the year. Even though I was look me up. I gotta tell you, look me up. Don't Google it, so y'all know. But from there, what happened within the school, people were coming to the school to get support for their loved ones because they found out the principal was in prison.
Ah, okay.
So when the school was closed, it doubled as a community center, a support center for people in the city of Atlanta, surrounding areas, people that were impacted by incarceration. And on the inside, I was facilitating. I was creating curriculums. I was always trying to help my brothers, especially towards the end.
Right.
So I just carried over a lot of those curriculums, and we started doing them in the community, out the building.
Wow, that's crazy. So what you were doing inside, it translated into something out here.
Yeah, everything was it was back to back. Things were going good. We received a proclamation. I've got my own day, June 23rd, which is amazing.
You have your own day.
Yeah. In the city
Really?
of South, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The organization does, but we started to get recognized for the in-person work, and then digitally, my story just started blowing up.
Right.
People started rallying behind it, whether they had been to prison or not, because I think what they seen was a sincere individual that, held himself accountable, but wasn't trying to live this gimmicky image of prison.
Right.
Yeah, I don't, and I'll say that this is not a reflection of Second Lap. I don't respect a lot of the prison content creators.
Likewise.
Yeah, I just don't. I respect the hustle, I respect the grind, but y'all know what this is really about. And if we don't do this the right way, we can have people thinking, especially younger generations, that this is sweet, this is cool. This is not what it is. So, I knew that I wanted to find a way to take back the narrative from a lot that was already being put out there.
Exactly.
And that's what I do nowadays, man.
When you just made that point about having the young people think it's sweet, right?
Yeah.
I want to go back. I'm going to jump back in prison just for a second.
For sure.
Picture Day was the biggest thing for me, right? For a
Picture
long
project.
time. The
Yeah, I did
Picture
a post
Project,
about
right?
that, yeah.
And at the time, I had a little size on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could recall going to borrow a shirt from this guy.
Yeah.
This guy's watch, this guy's shoes,
Just
to look good in the pictures, right? And then I would send a picture home showing my cousins, my little stuff, my little brother and all stuff like that. And then one time, an old head thing, he said, "Why are you sending pictures home to make it look like you're happy?"
Yeah. You want to hear the flip side to that?
Yeah,
now
to
you
get
got a whole generation of young kids in there. They showing pictures off their players
Right.
from when they was in the streets with all bands of money and
Right.
they ain't got nothing now.
nothing at all.
No, they starving.
Right.
I know because I'm in there, and I'm just saying this because it's real. We feeding into an image, we feeding into a gimmick. We think it's a game, and some of us are doing this because we just trying to make money. And I respect you're gonna feed your family, but man, we playing with life or death right here if you know what
Exactly.
prison's about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you have to look at it and say, where's my stance? What side am I on? Because I'm the same way. When it comes to some of the prison content creators, I'm like, yo, he's a clown. You know what I mean? Some of them are so weird where you kind of want to shoot the fade. Not that we would. Some of y'all can get it though.
First time dad. What I say earlier.
First time father. You know,
No, but I understand.
Some of y'all can get it though.
No, I
but yeah,
understand.
it's just the way that they do it because they make it seem like, okay, I'm going to capitalize on this, and I'm not even trying at all to give back.
Yeah,
you know
we
what I
see
mean?
it in the nonprofits. We see it's not just on social media. When it comes to prison, it's a business.
Exactly.
And a lot of people try to capitalize it off of it for the wrong reasons. Some people are able to capitalize, unfortunately, off of business in the right reasons. You might get a
Right.
contract for a curriculum at a prison and teach that, but help the brothers. That'd be a good way. You know, you're
Right,
telling a
right.
story to help people, motivate them, inspire them. But again, the prison is business, and
Right.
it's not always the guys that actually work for the Department of Corrections that's perpetuating
Exactly,
that.
exactly. So you've got now, just briefly, if you can, from the school, you and your wife, you were the great principal.
Yeah, that was yeah.
From the school, you get a day. From that, you implemented prison curriculums that you came up with, right?
Yeah, we're headed to Ohio in like 2 weeks to go
Wow.
do something out there.
And then it translates over into the life unit, stay
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
Give me break these things down to me. Because your hands,
Everything.
you got to handle a lot of stuff. Man. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
You got a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Okay, let me say this story real quick. You were supposed to be on my show. You were supposed to be my first show. You know that, right?
Word. Oh yeah.
Yes, see, yeah, you forgot.
And my son.
Yeah,
Well,
but no,
I had a son on
the
yeah.
blessing was because, all right, I know you probably remember we were on. I think it's either Haynesville or Sussex. We were on a compound together, and I remember at that time I knew you was life, and I remember you were in the circle of people doing like the programs and all that, and I'm just playing basketball and doing burpees all day, so I didn't pay that. No, these weirdos. That's how we thought. But to hear you say that you took that same thing, brought it over, and it's been like a major blessing for you. I'm like, what the heck? You know what I mean? But I'm saying that to say like everything that you have now, that you've done now, your family, first time father, and you look back on it, 144-year sentence, basically you asking at the time, hey, I want to come home before I'm 40.
Yeah.
When you reflect on that, what do you say to yourself like, man?
I reflect on the journey and just know, and I continue to walk in the knowing of everything that's happened previously has prepared me for the present and the future. That's what,
deep.
yeah,
That's deep.
that's what gives me peace, and no matter what comes, you know. And the heart of me, I'm an advocate. I'm an activist. That's why I say certain things, and
Right.
I'm not a social content creator.
Right.
I'm somebody that uses the digital space because that's where the youth are.
Right.
You know. But I'm somebody that's actively traveling full time in the country. You'll see me in some of the worst neighborhoods to the best. You know, I'm going to do a leadership class at Westminster. You know, but after that, I'm going to be on Skid Row with the Skid Row Commission out there.
Right.
I'm very committed to the work because I understand, once again, like I was saying earlier, it's not a game, and the prisons, just like the graveyards, don't take days off. So I'm not on that. I'm gonna do my part, especially now that I got a son.
Exactly.
It's different now.
Another
it's
inspiration, right?
Yeah,
A different
it's
inspiration.
even
right?
more. Yeah, it's everything's elevated, everything's increased.
Right. So with that, for me, it's like when you say advocate, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I got into this space, podcasting and stuff like that. I got into this really to bring attention to my nonprofit.
Yeah.
Second Lap, Life After Prison.
Shout out to
that
Second
was,
Lap.
That was really what I started for, and then it kind of like it's taking off. You know what I'm saying? And people might not know, but we made some content earlier today.
We're gonna release some fire, y'all. We got some, shout out to Aaron Peeler too, man. We got Aaron in the joint too.
Definitely shout out to Aaron P. Watching this guy work, right? The simplicity is what got me off top. Because I'm sitting there like, wait a minute, it takes me an hour and a half to do a 30-second clip. And I think what, 7, 8,
7.
in 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And I was like,
something
wait a
around.
minute, he's using his phone. I'm sitting here with Sony this, Sony that. I jump on my camera
It's
guy.
all right, though.
Big shout out to Vic.
Yeah, you
jump
got-
on my camera guy. I'm like, okay, it's a blueprint. But the reality of it is, like you said, you didn't jump into this to be a content creator.
No.
As an advocate first.
Yeah, I keep the purpose first.
I think that's what's amazing. You know what I'm saying? And actually, it's making me rethink my purpose and what I'm doing. Because again, I'm always, even talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing faces. You know, because like you were describing Sussex, and I'm seeing faces of brothers that I know that I left behind.
Yeah, no
you know what I mean?
question, yeah.
And anytime you go through these things, it always makes you reflect. Wow, man, so and so is doing it. This brother's here. That I got to do this for them. You know what I'm saying? Do you still have that drive for a lot of those people?
Yeah, I'm trying to free my brother right now, Jefferson Ellie, Poetic Life of Law. We got over, because of social
shout
media.
out to Poetic. I'm
Yeah.
listening.
Because of social media, we got over 188,000 signatures for his release sitting on the governor's desk right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, that's what I do it for, Amir. I do it for the young kids that message me and say I'm getting out the gangs. I do it for our brothers that are still behind the wall. I do it for our sisters that are giving birth behind the wall, because I just received a call about that.
This is reality. It is. Yeah, it's a reality.
The calls that I get and the people that reach out and the things that happen behind the scenes. And I want to say this too, and this isn't to glorify or glamorize, or if it could be considered it. For the work that I do, I receive death threats. My son, my child. This is a regular occurrence in my life, because all I'm doing is getting up here. I'm talking about prison conditions. I'm talking about people deserving of second chances, and people aren't happy about that. But I just wanted
That's
to.
insane. That's what
It's-
I could never even imagine that. You're getting death threats for the work that you're
That's
doing.
why I say I'm not just a content. The content, that it's just a platform, but it's because of the message. It's because of the work. You know, we were standing on, go back to Skid Row. I remember we were standing there and there was some dealers on the corner looking at us like we were taking their clientele, and they knew exactly who I was. You know, there's certain places where I travel, I have to have security. I never expected that.
Right.
You know, but it's got to be for the work, right? You know,
Right.
but I just want to say that that's how serious it is for me. You know, I got to have conversations with my wife. Yo, we still good? We good? We, you know.
Are we still gonna push forward? But
Yeah, especially with my son. It gets real, man. Yeah.
So, okay, when you said that, immediately my mind went to safety, because one of the things, like I said earlier, about pushing for rights, that you get your rights restored and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. You're in Georgia. I don't know the status of like your gun rights or anything like that. I don't know if that's
It's the
something.
Wild West out there.
It's a Wild West out there.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how to respond to that, because I am a gun toting,
Yeah.
rootin' tootin'. I'm real with
Everybody,
that. And
that's
it's-
Georgia.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's something I'm on. I come up like that, but now it's legal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the things that you know, that I wanted to get into eventually was, you know, Firearms Fridays, where felons with firearms, stuff like that. And part of my team is getting guys their gun rights back. Shout out to Earl Morgan,
That's
Big
what's
E. But death threats. I mean, like that's blowing me. Like, for what? I'm hearing that, right? I'm trying to.
Everybody just not happy with the message, and that's it. If it was just me creating content, I don't think it would happen.
Right.
But because of the work that's being done, because we're getting kids out of gangs, because we're talking about big home, because we're doing different things with the conversations, you know,
Right.
because we're going to the colleges, because we're good. I think that's what. But at the same time, it's an indicator that I'm headed the right direction.
Right, right.
If the opposition was minimal, what am I doing? And again, I'm trying to bring people home, man. I'm trying to keep people from going.
That's a good way of looking at it. Definitely a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, shout out to my wife who prays over me and says keep going. So
That's right. That's right. So, give me real quick before we close out. Real quick, tell me about Stay Free.
yeah,
Tell me about the Life Unit.
For
right?
sure.
And if they don't know, a way of getting in contact with your message as well as your movement. Give me a little bit about Life Unit first. Let's start there. Life Unit, then Stay Free. Tell
got
me
you,
about it.
man. First, I want to say shout out to Second Lap, man. Amazing platform, man. Now I'm proud of my brother, man. He's had some great. I'm glad I got up here finally. But the Life Unit Inc. is a 501c3. It's nationally recognized. We received a proclamation for the work we do in reentry, intervention, specifically gang intervention, youth intervention, and recovery work.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're really heavy there. And shout out to the people that let us in the neighborhoods, you know, because a lot of the work that we do, we do have the ability to go into certain spaces that other organizations can't, other people can't. So thank y'all for allowing us to travel into those spaces.
Definitely.
Stay free. That is it's a call of action. I'm excited for this year because we're opening up brick and mortars.
Okay.
Stay Free is an entire reentry community. I dropped 2 books last year, 144, which is a story of me being incarcerated, but the other one was How to Stay Free, a digital workbook and guide for reentry success for you and your
That's
loved ones.
awesome. That's awesome.
When you purchase that, you get automatic access to me, my team, ongoing 24-hour support, support groups, everything. We help you find resources, all of that. We do that in a digital space already, but now we're moving into brick and mortar.
Right.
Because we want people to come into spaces,
Right.
be around their brothers and sisters, form community. We want to bring resources to them in person. So I'm really excited about that. And it's also, it's the whole motion and motive behind the message on the internet. Right now, we're averaging about 100 million views across all platforms. And every single post is always about staying free. And it's not just from prison. It's mentally, it's emotionally, it's financially, spiritually, however you believe, but find that for you. But especially in times like these, man, especially, it's not about politics, it's about good versus evil. And at the end of the day, the core of you, whether you're in denial out loud, you know what it is. So stay free.
Definitely stay free.
And find me anywhere, you said?
Yeah.
Just look my name up, man. Just look Christopher
Google
Willars.
me.
You can Google. I can say Google me, man. Everybody can't say Google me. I work hard for that, man.
Right.
It don't say nothing crazy, but no, just look me up anywhere, social media, Google, etc. Christopher Life Willars or Christopher Willars.
Right. And your day is on what, June?
June 23rd. We got a conference coming, Picks to Peace. We're gonna be out there in Atlanta, Georgia, too.
Right.
So if anybody wants to get active with that, let me know.
Definitely, man. I need that invite. I need to be there for that.
We there.
Closing it out, man. Give me one word for everybody, man, that you would just say the closing word, and we're gonna let you go from there.